6, what happened last session?
Last session, we had a dramatic escape from Guerrilla, which involved avoiding a lot of guards and trying to stay focused. We took some animal paths, we used some items, we engaged in deception and trickery, and ultimately got away, except from Rose and Erican, Permilia's siblings, who were tracking us with magic. Rose confessed to us that she actually wanted to escape from Guerrilla as well because she didn't like what was expected of her as a priest of Ardia, one of the five. And so, in order to give her a legal way out and the protection of Dolvaran, we offered to let her join our guild.
Anything else you'd like to add to that?
Oh yeah, Permilia proposed to Navali.
But she didn't know she was doing it.
It was low key.
Is there anything else people would like to add before we continue? Okay. You have started to walk into the desert of the Rasahari. 6, this does feel eerily familiar to you. The heat beating down on you, the sand among your paw. I don't think I've ever asked. How would you describe your feet?
Digitigrade, like tabby cat feet that sometimes have wraps on them for armor and sometimes not.
Well, you can feel the sand in it. It
Pause.
isn't comfortable. The heat is almost immediately unbearable. And as you walk forward and the grass turns into just a yellow sand that seems to go on forever, I have to ask the question, what direction exactly do you go?
We have a map from Sands, don't we?
It's even the one you're looking at right now.
But do we have a compass?
Well, so is it correct that where
You
do
would
we
have
think we're
entered
entering
from the
from?
east side. Think about it right here-ish.
My instinct is to say let's go northwest toward the Oasis of Flowers, as that's a central area, and also we have an objective there. We can decide where to go next after that.
That makes sense.
Agreed.
You are all aware that this is going to be a very long and painful journey in many regards. That being said, you also are carrying a lot of supplies and food with you. You're keeping hydrated, and you begin heading to the northwest in that case. Unless there's any objections, which it doesn't sound like there is.
No, but I do want to just clarify some logistics out of character on this. I think we bought 3 months of supplies.
Correct.
Are you expecting us to keep track of that? I see the dangerous area supplies tab in the journals. I'm just curious how you want us to be doing that.
I give you editing. I do give you editing privileges. I would prefer if someone else handled it, simply because I don't want to.
Hey, Leorin, you're a huge nerd.
Leo is a bureaucrat. He probably would be tasked with keeping a log of what we have.
Makes sense to me.
Well, you do have editing privileges. Would you like to?
I got it.
Perfect.
I think we had functionally 90 days of supplies, 90 days of rations, and 90 days rations for everybody except for Navali, which is 90 days of vegetarian rations.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to worry about the math there at the moment because you prepared for the 7 of you. We can figure out problems if you find an 8th.
That sounds mildly portentous.
I have a question.
Of course.
Can we like divvy out our spells and whatnot now so that we can have it for the journey? I
Uh,
imagine we've had a couple of days.
you can
prepare.
definitely have a long rest before you've actually entered, and you may prepare your spells.
Okay, thank
However
you.
you like to decide for the 3 people who do that.
I get the impression you're about to create bread and water.
Yes.
How do we carry all this bread?
You don't. You leave
You
it
don't.
in the sand afterwards. It disappears after 24 hours.
Yep.
We use it as a distraction if there's a big monster and just throw a bunch of just drop 40 pounds of food.
Just try and bury it under bread. This'll work, right?
Yeah, but you really don't want to be, just as a reminder, because they're like the rules for this are like we have to find a safe place to long rest and get spell slots back. So you can't
Yes.
just like
Correct.
make food every day.
Correct.
Otherwise, you're using all your slots that we probably need you to save.
Well, I only have 2 level 3 spell slots anyway, so
I would like to encourage you to waste all your slots.
It's a good
No.
emergency move.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the idea for it. I was thinking it was more in the case if we needed water than food, honestly.
For the sake of logistics, I will also mention that while taking a long rest will be difficult, whenever you're going to take the day off and take that short rest, sleep for the night, I'm still going to let you prepare. You might not be able to get your spells back, but you'll be able to prepare again.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Also, I just want to like ask as a group decision. Navali does have purify food and drink. I could switch to that if we feel like maybe that would be a good spell to have just in case.
My thinking is that we did buy 90 days of rations, like,
You have
and
plenty.
if we're able to prepare mid journey, then it may be like if we're running low on rations, then a spell like that might be more useful.
Okay. All right. Then I'm just gonna at least switch to create food and water as one of my spells. Just in case.
There's another logistic thing. I would like someone to roll me survival just to have a basic idea of how long heading to the Oasis of Flowers would take.
Okay, who has what survival?
A 1.
Navali
Zero.
has a 1.
1.
I have a 3.
Karito confidently takes the lead and says, "Worry not, the spirits will guide us." Because I've got a 6.
I completely believe Karito because he has been correct about things before.
Just roll me survival cards, yeah.
Hell yeah! Let's go. Awful roll. First roll of the session 1. It's oh nice.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
When you begin your journey and kind of look at the map and start thinking about exactly how long this might take, you get the idea, depending upon what ends up happening to you, it's going to take between a week to a week and a half to get to the Oasis of Flowers. So it gives you a basic idea of how much you're going to start using to get there.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'm going to give the spellcasters a moment to prepare before I start just throwing random things at you and seeing if I can kill the party.
Rude.
Woo!
Navali's good to go.
Leo's good as well.
As is Celeste.
Okay, that is everyone who actually prepares. The other 3 of you are lucky. The first few hours into the desert starts to bake into those who have not been here before. It is not comfortable. For the sake of some brevity, I will explain that the sand seems to get a little bit everywhere and a little bit coarse and rough in many, let's just say, unpleasant ways. with the exception of Celestra, because apparently scales are really good against sand. Celestra, you do get tired very often simply because of how hot it is. But compared to everyone else who is constantly having to scratch and try to get these mats out of their fur, you're fine. You get the feeling if the wind starts blowing too hard, it's going to start causing very serious problems. But the first day, somehow, nothing happens and you simply feel uncomfortable. It's on the second day where the wind starts to pick up and the sand starts to actually blister and pull forward. Moving forward becomes very difficult. Karuto, it sounds like you're planning to do most of the leading because you're the only one with survival. Is this correct?
Phantom Rogue is great, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm going to pretend I don't.
Unless someone, says otherwise, yeah, Karuto will take the lead.
I would like to ask, as wind picks up and sand starts to blow much harder and lower visibility and start honestly causing physical pain as it rips into fur and flesh, what do you do?
Karuto consults Fiona.
Have I ever had to
/6.
deal with this before?
Roll history. So the problem isn't that you haven't had to deal with this before, that you've never had to deal with this in the wild before. Yes, sometimes the wind picks up and sand goes everywhere, but you've always had shelter to hide behind. You don't really have a solution when there's not buildings.
We could make a camp and wait it out.
Losing progress might not be the best idea in such a harsh environment.
Are we basically yelling at each other?
You have to be yelling at each other, yes. It is
Sorry.
hard.
We could
Also,
basically make a camp and wait it out.
As you're yelling, sand gets in your mouth and starts cutting up your tongue.
Do we have cloth that I can wrap over my head and face?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm doing. And then I keep yelling at Karuto. This is much better, I assume.
Yes.
Hang on. Nope.
Because I don't want to be like pseudo yelling or play yelling the entire time, I'm just going to continue at a conversational term, but assume we are yelling.
I can assume you're yelling without you actually yelling. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're stage yelling.
Yeah. We should press on, unless we cannot physically continue.
Does anyone object to Karuto just trying to press on?
I mean, unless we're physically suffering, we're
It hurts.
getting hurt.
It is physically painful to start doing this. You're not sure if it's going to cause physical damage yet, but going forward it might.
And it's just the sand pelting everyone that's the main issue.
It is sand that is pelting you at fairly high speeds, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like walking against a piece of sandpaper repeatedly.
Correct.
What's the issue with? Is there an issue with visibility?
Extremely poor.
Okay.
It's like a snowstorm, but just filled with hatred.
It's like a snowstorm that instead of white, everything is this orangish blob of red and orange. That hurts.
Six is actually going to argue with Karito.
Think Rev, because we're yelling. I assume Rev can also hear this. He'll just go over to Karito, tug on his sleeve, and then shake his head. And then he'll go over to Leo and try to make a semicircle gesture with his hands.
Leo will just shout, "I think we'll get buried." But out of curiosity, Leo wants, if possible, roll a history check. Like, in what I was researching about the desert, how long do these kind of windstorms generally last?
I definitely will allow a history or nature check. So, when you did some research about this, it's hard to tell on like an immediate guess. Sometimes they could take hours, sometimes days. But from your understanding, these aren't too uncommon nowadays, as if some kind of magical force is causing it to happen more often, but also less with less time. They tend to be quick flashes instead of days or week long.
Gotcha. I look at Rev and I say, "We'll get buried. We could dig out, or if there's a shelter nearby." Leo's like hopelessly hoping that there's a random cave, even though there's probably not. I should be clear. He'll do it if you insist. He's just sort of like offering this thought.
Are Six and Karita still yelling at each other?
When I say that I'm arguing with Karito, what I mean is Six is more like, it's too rough, we're going to get injured, I think we should wait it out. This is what we bought all the supplies for.
So, I thought we was. Do we have it like a tent or whatever?
Yeah.
Lord, okay, that's gonna be tough to wrangle. Actually, Character has an idea, and so strives his way over to Leorin. Leorin, put up the dome. We can set up the tent.
Yeah. Leo looks at Rev, assuming that's what you were indicating with the semicircle.
Yeah, he was trying to indicate the dome.
Okay. Is based on the situation, given that at minimum the dome takes a minute to make, is this like wind enough to break concentration, sort of like?
So it's not just breaking the concentration, you actually have to literally draw the circle when sand is constantly going over it. It's doable, but I am actually going to ask you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Do you have to draw a circle?
I believe so. I believe you actually have to set the boundaries.
Oh, that does make sense. Sorry, I was focusing strictly on the circle part. What did you say I needed to roll?
Constitution saving throw, like a concentration check. It's completely doable, and I'm going to be honest, I expect you'll succeed.
Yeah, well, it's just like it would probably be harder if I tried to ritual cast it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Leo's just going to spend the 1 minute to cast it the normal way. And problem is my concentration. I'm going to Navali, get over here.
I was about to say, can Navali potentially shield?
Well, yeah, I just need your aura.
I was about to say, he's asking for the aura, but I would absolutely let you just be a giant bunny in front of him, sure.
Yeah, Navali's going to attempt to do that. But she's also gonna like stand close enough so that she can give the aura.
Okay.
Oh, wait, one second, one second. Pam has the shield master trait, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you guys
And this is an
create a
AoE, right?
circle around me to try to buffer some of the sand.
Yeah,
She,
I think that will work.
she can totally use her shield master trait to
Sure.
block out the sound.
I guess this is ultimately Skirn's call, but like mechanically, yeah, if she's allowed.
I mean, I'll allow it so he gets to roll with advantage because it's not like it's coming from one direction all times.
Yeah, it's buffeting back and forth.
We know that Permilia is a god and can shield from all directions at once.
Whoop.
Leo, it doesn't take you too long, especially because you have multiple people trying to just make sure you are able to do so and manage to get the dome up. And immediately it feels much more comfortable. You do get the feeling if you pressed forward, it would have started to cut into your fur and skin and do actual lasting damage. But at the moment, you're fine. You do know you're going to have to do some more things because Leo, you know eventually this could get buried and cause problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I, because I assume it starts to get quiet on the inside too.
Yes, absolutely.
Somewhat. And so
Probably
Leo
definitely quiet.
Leo takes a
comparatively.
breath and says, "We're fine for now, but if I have to stay here, but if people can try to keep the dome clean, it'll help us get out faster.
I'll help.
Not immediately, just as as it accumulates a little bit."
Well, my thought was we set up the shelter inside and then drop the dome.
I don't need to roll for this. You know, the shelter would also just get covered in sand.
Yeah, we don't want to be buried in a sand dune. It's not just a. The dome can keep the sand out, but I don't really trust a canvas to do that.
Whenever it starts piling up, because we can see through it from the inside, right?
Yeah.
Whenever it starts piling up, I'll go out there and dig some of it out.
So I'm just going to ask for the people who are going to do like the digging and maintaining to roll me athletics.
Navali can help too.
Navali and 6 can do it.
Can I assist Navali?
Sure.
What's
Celastra would offer help with anything that she could, but if you guys have it covered, that
Do I get a roll with advantage?
Yes. The idea that 6 is essentially making it easier for Jesus.
nice.
I will say, for the sake of some brevity on this situation, that the mixture of the dome and then Navali just every now and then getting up and 6 clearing off, cutting some of it up with her own natural abilities, and Navali just sweeping it off with very easy gestures. You're pretty sure you're going to be fine. And after a few hours pass, Navali, when you get up and check again, the sandstorm has stopped and you have not been buried. And strangely, no one seems worse for wear.
Nice.
Is it what time of day is it? Is it
It would have taken about half the day for this, but you can then start traveling again if you'd like, or you could just rest and pray that doesn't happen again because you have the dome already up.
Character will want to push forward.
I'm inclined to agree, but I can't bring the dome up as frequently or as easy as I have in the past.
How long does it normally last when you put it up, Leo?
8 hours. Yeah. It will be more of an issue if it happens overnight and we don't have the ability to clear it out, I imagine. I'll just be more conservative with my spells.
With that roll for my own sort of personal thoughts, Kara seems to be listening to something for a moment, and then Scan, tell me if this is correct. Suggest that it might be a better idea to move or travel early morning and late evening and stay the day inside the dome to avoid the worst of the heat.
If you're attempting to avoid the heat, that is absolutely true. There are their own issues with traveling at night, obviously, but
Well, not night, like twilight and
fair.
like morning, early morning.
Of course, that would also mean that you're essentially traveling a lot less because you're only traveling in very certain hours. You're correct. It would avoid most of the heat for sure, and a lot of issues. But if you're not going to travel at the night itself, you are traveling significantly less time.
Well, I guess if that becomes an issue, we can reconsider. But for now, it's what to do now, which is
Being said, you're correct. In the very least, you're going to avoid most of the heat for the day if you want to just encourage everyone to push.
I'm of a mind to keep going. What about everyone else?
Same.
I can keep going.
Can manage.
Leo nods.
You leave the dome, you press forward, much more confident that you did not actually take actual lasting damage and manage to get a bit more ground before the sun starts to actually wane and fall. I'm going to assume that you do not press on through the night.
no. Because, well, in fairness, a lot of us have night vision, but also night is when predators come out, and it's also probably getting really fucking cold.
I do not want to get exhaustion in the Rasahari.
Yeah. Yeah, and we bought more supplies than we think we needed, not just because we weren't sure of the distance, but also to give ourselves some to reduce the rush of it all.
It's true.
It's a marathon, not a race. Well, sprint even. Marathons are races.
You rest that night. Again, you're making ground. It's still difficult. If there's any conversation you'd like to have during that long rest, by long I mean technically short, but you know what I meant, let me know. Actually, I should take a step back. Do you take watches?
Absolutely.
Nah.
100%.
What are those
Do we
for?
take watches in the most dangerous place we've possibly ever been?
We've taken watches
yeah.
every other leg of the campaign, but now in the desert, like, it's so inhospitable, nothing would find us.
Do we even need to?
I mean, I think that
to.
would be very funny if you didn't. Please ignore the fact I actually quickly rolled something.
Yes, I'm taking watch.
Okay. Please tell me your watches.
It's about 10:30.
I'm on first watch.
I am so tempted to just move you to a shame chamber right now.
Oh, sorry, I had to. I didn't have to, but you know what I mean.
Six took first, Leo's taking third, Karato's with six.
Hell yeah.
Rev will. Rev's on. I don't know. Rev will take third with Leo. That's fine.
Okay, so that means Navali and Celestra take second watch.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I believe at this point you know my rules for watches, so Karato 6, go for it.
Karto, yours is pretty high in it.
It is indeed.
Roll with advantage.
Excellent. Boop. Phew. Okay.
Karto, you are hyper aware. And one of the biggest hurdles with the desert is you can constantly hear ambient noise that isn't that of life itself, like the slow moving of sand, the every now and then bristling of a cactus nearby or other plant life that is rare, but because it's so rare, the noise is more audible to you. It's disconcerting because you're used to constant life in the world, and this seems almost devoid of it. You don't actually hear anything approaching, anything that sounds like an animal or anything to that degree. Just the sounds of almost disconcerting silence.
Hmm. The worrying part is before when we've heard disconcerting silence, it's been a prelude to something.
Yes, six. If the moment that you're like, it's more quiet, you're like, no, that's normal. When you travel through the desert all the time, like every now and then there was sound, but you only had to worry if you heard something actually coming at you.
This is normal. When we were traveling through Drolvaran, when a predator showed up, everything else was quiet. But here, there's nothing to be quiet. If something were coming for us, we'd hear it.
It is almost reassuring.
It is. I never liked all the noise in Dolvaran.
Character gets a wry smile at that. And yet, you are always very comfortable making your own.
That's coming from me. It's not everyone else's.
I see.
It's okay when I do it, Karato. She laughs a little bit.
Well then, I shall endeavor to keep quiet.
I don't mind when you talk.
Ah, such privilege.
I wonder what's going to happen at the Oasis. The vision that we saw.
Hmm. To find such a place, it will be difficult.
I disagree. Rasahari made it sound
Oh?
like it was very famous. I think it will be easy to find. It's what we find within it that I am curious about.
Do you speak of the bones in the desert?
She shakes her head.
The player character is currently trying to remember the vision.
Six asked, what did she need to do to get a positive outcome with her brother, and it showed her alone in a field of flowers with her weapons drawn.
Ah, that one. Yeah, okay. Tell me, do the Rasahari have a traditional ritual combat?
I don't think so. Do they, Skern?
Define ritual.
Yeah, define ritual.
To settle disputes, to show prowess?
I'm
I
assuming
mean, by definition, yes, but that's not what you'd call it.
it's not the same as what you're thinking. You're thinking like a duel, right? Like something honorable.
He nods. Controlled with rules.
No, the only rule is do whatever it takes to win.
Hmm.
Do you have
That just
any?
makes my thoughts
Sorry.
more concerning.
Do you have any siblings? You never talk about your family.
It depends on what you mean by siblings.
She's just sort of looking at you as if letting you go on.
How I came to be is, from what I understand, not common. My brothers and sisters, we were once as the beasts. But something, no one is quite sure what, causes some of us to change. We knew it was the blessing of Inari, but some question if it is a blessing at all.
That doesn't sound
The
so
life of
strange.
well, I do not think that you or Reverence or possibly even Navali were once more simple creatures. No?
Yeah. I don't know where tabaxi come from.
Well, put it this way. You were not born as a cat, were you?
No.
He nods. Exactly so.
You started out as a fox?
He
Like,
nods again.
oh. Okay, yeah, that's a little different.
He smiles. And so you see why such a question would be unique for me.
I guess.
I have siblings, but they are not like me. Well, they are, but not the same. It is difficult to say.
Isn't that kind of sad?
He gives a sort of slightly sorrowful smile. In a sense, yes.
Huh. If she's not prompted, Six is going to meditate on the idea of what it means to transform into something else.
Character seems comfortable letting it lapse in silence.
Six, could you roll me a wisdom check? It's disconcerting to think about such things.
Though I understand it might not result in progress, I will not turn away from the disconcerting thing. I will
Fair.
introspect even when it hurts.
Character spends his time quietly tending to his gear.
There's a lot of cleaning the sand off your gear. It takes quite a bit of time. But fortunately, you're safe. You don't feel like you're in any danger, and you go wake up the second watch. For the take of simplicity, I'm sure you're all figured out that Premilia just wakes up with you, Navali.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Unless explicitly requested for a different watch, that is the plan.
Celestra, how is your perception?
I have a +3.
I've got a +5 if you just want to let me roll.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, you need to stop rolling 20s.
No.
Navali, just like what I described with Karuto of this eerie silence, it is very disconcerting to you personally. You grew up in a forest. You are used to the constant sounds of leaves rustling, small critters moving about, and the only time that things became deadly silent was when danger was approaching. But you don't really hear anything. Every now and then the sand seems to move in this rustling, scratching noise, but it's almost like white noise compared to everything else you've heard. It makes you feel uneasy.
Yeah, I imagine it is very uneasing for her. So she's probably just kind of like keeping close to Perm, trying to keep, her ears out to listen, but also having her close is a nice comfort. Same with Celestra being there too.
I will say with that nat 20, as you pay very close attention, you hear something very faintly, far away. You're pretty sure it's further than you'd be able to hear anywhere else simply because of the lack of sound.
Mhm.
Something very brief.
Mhm.
Something is out there. It's far right now. And you don't think it's coming towards you, maybe, but something's definitely out there.
Navali is going to say that to Perm and Celestra so that they too are aware, but make note that it doesn't seem like it's coming towards them.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out.
Mhm.
Is there any conversations you'd like to have?
Not in particular. I am curious though, does Perm have like sand in her hair at all?
Absolutely. She's been trying to get it off this entire time.
Navali wants to help her.
In
Like-
return, she starts doing the same to you as you realize you have sand all over your hair and ears.
It's appreciated.
Honestly, the only person who seems that sand just kind of slides off is Lostra. Scales are cheating.
Hee Blasters is looking out for bad guys.
Mhm.
Fortunately, nothing seems to interrupt you during your watch. Every now and then, Navali's ears do perk up and just continue to hear that. But it has distance, and it almost makes Navali feel more at ease to hear something exists. Third watch?
Navali will mention to Third Watch what she heard. But like I said, also make mention that it sounded like it was far enough away.
Oh boy.
How do you
So-
describe the noise?
It sounds like a distant cat meow. Make that a hissing cat meow.
Rev's ears fold. Thank you. We'll keep an eye out.
Wake me up if you need anything.
He nods.
What is your perception?
5.
Oh, you should do it because I have 0. Though I will say Leo's part in this, he's actually curious if it's a rhythmic sound or if it's like kind of not patterned at all.
Is there any way I could like figure that out, Stern?
Leo
So-
would do it over his watch.
I was about to
Oh,
say, Navali, you definitely go to sleep, but like discussing this with Rev as Rev pays attention, and Rev, you're able to start hearing that because it's definitely somewhere nearby at this point. I will allow either a nature or a insight check from either of you, or both of you. Like both of you can roll for this.
My best thing is a 1 in insight.
Well, there you go.
Leo, you are predicting based entirely upon description, and that is difficult. But Rev, when it's given suggestions like listening for patterns, it's not rhythmic. It sounds kind of like calling, but not in the sense of trying to get attention, like fear.
And it seemed closer, you said?
It definitely got closer over the course of the watch, yes.
But still far in the grand
Yes.
scheme of
Still
our
far.
safety. Okay.
Yes. It's close enough that if you wanted to go actively investigate, it's still a bit of walking away from everyone else, which you probably don't want to do. Unless you do.
Goodbye. No. For my part, I mean, aside from our sharing notes about this weird sound in the distance, I imagine when Leo got up, he had to like dust off all of his clothes that he's sort of, I imagine, wearing multiple layers on a night like this.
Makes sense.
And he's also kind of just like staring up at the moon, which is currently pale twin moon, I believe.
Correct. Moons, technically.
Yeah. Assuming Rev seems at all approachable. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, he seems he's just listening. He looks like he's just focused on trying to like keep track of where this thing is.
Gotcha. Do you have a minute, or are you busy?
What's up?
I just trying to remember what has been shared with the group about the pale moon. I know that Six has perhaps, I don't want to say downplayed, but the concerns that I have, but Six is seemingly confident about what we're walking into. But I think that this, particularly for you, should be shared as well, because all of the research I've ever done into the Pale Moon, it affected Tabaxi, not strictly Tabaxi from the Savagelands per se.
Wait, I thought it was to back up. I thought that this problem, this pale moon phenomenon, only happened in a specific place. You're saying it happens only to Tabaxi and it's not limited to one place?
It's happened in multiple places to Tabaxi within the Rasahari Desert. So yeah, it hasn't expanded to Dulveron or anything, but it's sort of like, now that we are in the Rasahari Desert, I don't know how far its influence goes. It seems to have moved from the first pale moon that had sort of been measured, had existed in this cove that we've talked about, and then it sort of disappeared. And the more recent one that affected people, like I shared, was in the City of Winds, but I don't know for certain that that means that it couldn't have moved from last year to this year. or that it's not covering the entire Rasahari in general.
So how? Maybe you said this and I just missed it. But how frequent were these occurrences? I mean, every what was it? Whenever the
Well, so the just to make sure I'm sharing this correctly, the occurrences, the pale moon simply is, and Leo kind of gestures to the sky, like you know this.
well, yes, but does it
but
happen every pale moon or?
it had an absent period of hundreds of years. That's my understanding, Skern, right? There wasn't.
If you're talking about the dementia, the moon was always there.
Yeah, the dementia specifically. Yeah, the side effects of the pale moon had been absent for many years and just resumed again last year. And those side effects, what the scholars have referred to as Savagelands dementia, I was able to identify that a lot of those cases sort of centered around the City of Winds, but that doesn't mean that's where they all are. That's just simply where the records came from, if that makes sense.
I see.
I mean, information only travels so fast, and I guess I just have a concern that perhaps somebody who had dementia in the middle of the desert their story may have never reached the libraries because they burned themselves in the sand or something. Or perhaps the City of Red Sands or the Oasis of Flowers, that those places don't have the same information network that go to the library that I've been to. So, all that being said, I just I just want you to know this as well. I think Six is aware of the concerns, albeit seems unconcerned, we'll say. But this could affect you as well.
Suppose it does. What happens then?
Do you still have that ring?
Yeah, it's on his finger. He'll hold it out.
I don't know if that'll help, but I would say if you're considering and Leo's saying this in an obviously sarcastic way, but it's sort of like if you're considering burning your children or ritually sacrificing people to keep the moon happy, or if you're having vivid and painful dreams that sort of where you think we're turning into monsters and you need to slay us, then I just would sort of tamp those emotions back, perhaps. Or seek Celastra's support. I don't know if she can help.
In the cases you've read, is there a wind-up period, symptoms, things that happen before it's full-blown?
I don't know that there's early detection per se, but a lot of people's fates, which is to say that all the cases of dementia that I've seen or read about, rather, they have died within a week, maybe 2 weeks, biting off their own tongue, bleeding to death, hanging themselves. So I don't have an early detection method, but I would say if we have any reason to be concerned, we have a timer before things get out of hand.
I will bear that in mind. Thank you, Leorin.
Leo frowns and nods, and then stares up at the sky again.
As Leo turns to the sky, Rev, your ears perk again, and you hear it sounds almost like scratching in the sand. And once again, ever so closer every time.
Closer every time. Is it within 100 feet?
1 second, I'm going to roll something. About 200 feet.
It's closer. I think we should wake everyone up for the moment.
I was just checking to see if my familiar had dark vision, and it does not. Which would functionally mean it, even though it has quote unquote keen sight, it still can't see shit.
Correct.
Okay. So Leo's not saying no, but he's like, I could just put up the dome and let everybody sleep.
I thought the dome was already up.
No,
Did we
I
not put
can't.
up the dome?
I guess I could. I've argued I ritually casted it, but I didn't say I did. So I don't think so.
So to put up the dome now, would you need to ritually cast it?
I would need 11 minutes to ritually cast it, or 1 minute to not.
How quiet is this ritual? Like if everyone is sleeping, out of curiosity.
It does require vocal components, so I'd probably.
Vocal
Leo
doesn't
would-
mean you're shouting, though.
Yeah.
Like, you can be mumbling. Like, you've had a complete conversation. There's no reason that would wake everyone up.
Leo's sort of following your lead. He's like,
Okay, all right. Yes, get the dome up. If it gets closer, then we wake everyone up.
he nods. Time to spend more spell slots.
Rev, as you're paying attention and you hear Leo mumbling under his breath, the dome goes up. You can hear it still every now and then going. You're not sure if it's looking for you, but it seems to just be in the area. You're not quite sure what it is, and it's definitely within 200, 300 feet, and just kind of wandering nearby.
So at this point, Rev is just trying to keep tabs on it, and if it ends up within like 100 feet or so and seems to be advancing, then he's gonna wake everybody up.
I will say, it does not seem to get within 100 feet, though every now and then you can still hear it as the sun starts to come up and people would start to awake on their own.
We usher people into the dome for breakfast. So they can put armor on and such.
With both Karuto and Navale, both of them can every now and then hear and a scratching in the sand.
Like from outside the dome?
Sure. Dome doesn't prevent sound from coming in completely.
But like 100
But we
feet
can't
away.
see it.
It's about 200 to 400 feet away, yes. And I will say it once again, even as the sun comes up, yes, you cannot see it.
If we have I mean, if everybody's awake and preparing breakfast and stuff, Leo will send his bird up to do a scan outside of the dome.
Sure.
Uh,
Go ahead and give me perception for your bird. With advantage, because sight, obviously.
Damn it.
It's all good. 23. Do you actually get into your bird's eye view, or do you?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
And flying like 100 feet up, so that there's just limited opportunity to get shot down.
Yes, these creatures definitely have guns. Honestly, that would be very funny and scary. As it flies 100 feet up and kind of scans around, it sees a lot of sand, and realizing very quickly the reason that keeping out of visual is difficult is because it's not just a solid layer. It goes up and down continuously, and as you focus and notice, it's slightly camouflaged. This creature seems to have a whitish, orangish fur, and is keeping itself low to the ground, about 250 feet to your north, every now and then going. Appears to be some kind of large cat, though not as big as the stories you've heard before of the ones the size of a house. It seems much smaller than that. It honestly seems about the size of a normal lion that you've seen before. Well, heard stories about perhaps, or read stories about, seen pictures of at most. Though, as the eyes look carefully, it can tell that it seems young, and that one of its hands doesn't seem to be a normal cat paw, but rather seems to almost have flesh and digits that are moving around more like a human hand.
Oh, everything seemed fine until that last sentence. Is it pointed, like, is it facing the exact direction of the dome, or does it look like it's combing?
It is not facing the direct direction of the dome. It seems to be, well, the 23, I'll even say, you can see that it has been scratching and almost circling around a very wide area, not necessarily looking for you, but somewhere in this area, constantly making this noise and scratching the sand as it goes along.
Can I, through, like, Leo is trying to insight this through the bird's eyes. Does it look like it's looking for something that's buried?
Nature insight.
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
Okay. Leo just tells the bird to just keep doing laps for a little bit, and then we'll come out of the eyes and fill people in, and says, frightening cub of a mutated lion, white lion. Doesn't seem to be looking for us specifically. Should we? I can keep tabs on it. We could go around.
Skern,
Stop.
with that nature roll, would it be reasonable to assume that any kind of predator probably wouldn't be making that kind of noise if it was hunting?
With that nature roll, I will actually just tell you directly. We're going to take the 19, not the 20, if you're curious. That correct. If it was hunting, it would not be making that kind of noise. It not necessarily be silent, but it's a different type of noise. And as you're hearing it, this is the kind of noise that you think back to when you were young and if a fox ever lost its parent, it started making that noise, looking desperately for it.
That doesn't assure me at all.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Kaito, after listening for a little bit, sort of goes, that is not. It sounds like it's looking possibly for some kind of safety. Maybe its parents, which possibly means they're around here.
It looked like it was digging. Skern.
Not necessarily digging, but it definitely is clawing at the sand.
Oh God. I just had a terrible thought. I will see if it's true, and Skern will probably take great glee in revealing it if it is. Luren, if possible, would it be okay for you to have your familiar follow us from the sky as we move?
Sure. People need to rest now and then, I'm sure, but
He nods. I just wish to be cautious, is all. We're going to leave that creature alone, I assume. No one suggested going to help, inverted commas, it.
No, I believe we should circumvent it.
And then we continue while trying to avoid that thing, I suppose.
How in particular do you try to avoid it? Because it is within your hearing distance, and therefore might be within its hearing distance.
Has there been a consistent sort of direction that it's been going? When, like, if Leo looks at the scratch marks that it's been leaving behind, or that any kind of trail it's left behind as it's gotten closer to us, does it seem to be heading like east in general?
It seems less like it's heading in a general direction and more almost random when you watch the scratch marks, as if it is picking a direction, scratching, making the sound, and then choosing a direction again, repeating.
Gotcha. I wonder if this is a situation where if we can just get around it, we can follow its own footsteps, hoping it won't double back in its search.
Yeah, I want to get away from it. Even if it comes after us, I think we should run. Because, like, I don't want to get into a fight with that thing and then have its parent show up.
Agreed.
Oh god, the Bahir already felt bad enough.
I can try to direct us through the bird's eyes, away from whatever direction it's facing, I suppose. I could also use a spell to track it such that we could keep away from it, but that is costly.
Well, so Navali and Karuto have very good hearing, so like with the combination of the bird and like their hearing ability, couldn't we just potentially use that to be like have a better chance of getting farther away?
Knowing where it is isn't the problem. It's how do you, like, are you simply trying to move in an opposite direction, or are you trying to keep yourselves quiet?
I would say move in the opposite direction. Because I don't think there's a way that we can be quiet.
Are you saying that because of your armor?
I'm saying that because we have a giant, fully armored bunny and snake. And Perm?
She is also heavy armored, yes.
Perhaps the next time it makes a noise, because it seems to make a noise and choose a new direction, we will just go in the opposite of whatever its new direction is and try to circle around.
Sure, that sounds good to me.
Okay. Karuto, you have good ears.
Mhm.
You also have this weird ability to roll high on nature. So could you just roll me nature just for getting good timing down? You wait until you hear the next. And then you just start moving in the opposite direction that it is going. Briefly, you can tell that there's a pause, as if it definitely heard your movements. But as Leo pops into the eyesight, it doesn't seem to be following. Just you can see its head turn and tilt, and then lower itself again, and seemingly wait. But it doesn't seem to follow. And you make some distance, and an hour goes by, and you're fairly certain you can't hear it anymore. And you're fairly certain that if its parents are coming at you, it's probably much louder.
Hmm.
So I assume you then continue to head towards the Oasis of Flowers?
Mhm.
Are we on day 3?
You are on day 3.
Okay.
And the third day, through the magic of extremely lucky dice rolls, absolutely nothing happens and you travel without any issues.
Extremely skillful dice rolls.
Absolutely. You bed down for the night. Feel free to do your perceptions and watches again.
Do we want to choose watches every day of this journey, or do we just want to have the same watches?
To you guys.
Unless someone has otherwise impetus, I happily take the same watch.
Same.
Same.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Car to 6, go for it.
Roll with advantage.
Bonk. Ooh.
You
Those
don't
are
hear
terrible
anything.
rolls.
For better or worse, you hear nothing, Karuto.
Well, I sure hope we don't get ambushed in this wide open desert. Right, Six?
Huh.
Exactly.
For the sake of some brevity, I will simply ask, is there any conversations you'd like to have? If no, we'll move on to the second watch.
Saucer, do you mind?
What, helping?
Yeah.
Sure.
To give me advantage.
Yeah.
Voice.
Navali, you listen a bit carefully as Karuto says that he heard nothing. And you do very vaguely hear the sounds of almost screaming, but it's far, far away. And then it abruptly stops.
Karn, I
Yes?
would like to decipher immediately if I recognize that scream.
Yes, you do.
I
I
do.
don't need you to roll. You fought them before.
I'm making a face. It's a very unhappy one.
But
Um,
the screaming abruptly stopped.
mhm. Navali's gonna lay that Solastra because Perm wasn't with them when they dealt with that. Solastra, do you remember that screaming goat in the desert?
I most definitely do. I don't want to come across those again.
I'm pretty sure I heard one, and then it just stopped.
Maybe someone killed it?
Or maybe something bigger ate it.
Boy. Was it far away?
How far away was it, Skern? Could I?
Very far away. Like, without your keen hearing, you're not sure you would have heard it at all. And also, because there's no sound beyond stuff like this, sound travels further this way.
Very far. But I'd say let's still keep an eye out.
Will do.
I'm going to assume you wake up third watch when nothing else happens.
And let them know.
Sure.
Sounds delightful. I will give Rev advantage. Logistics question. So unless it's like a really dust storm, like is ritually casting the dome.
You
pretty
can do so
easy?
without any issues
Okay.
unless it's windy.
Gotcha. Then I'll just say that Leo's re-upping the dome that he probably put up earlier.
Totally fine. Reference.
Hey.
Your ears pinned for a second, especially since you're trying to be more aware after Navale talked about the screaming. You remember that fight. That wasn't fun.
Nope.
It's very, very faint. But for a second, you definitely hear something is out there, and you can't identify the sound, and that makes it more concerning. It's not the sound of the sand, it's not the sound of the wind, it's something. And your mind just can't pick up on exactly what. Good news is it's not screaming.
There's something else out there.
Leo nods in understanding. Seems like it's going to be like this for how long? Months?
Rev gives a very strained nod.
I sure hope we find what we're looking for then. Assuming that
Morning comes, that issue.
Okay.
Suddenly, I miss the wolves.
You say that. Those wolves were way deadlier than the screaming antelope.
And yet,
Morning has come. The rest of you wake up. Can I get a perception from Karuto and Navali?
yeah.
Yeah.
I am not taking the advantage on either of those. I'm taking the 17 and 20, just so you're aware.
Oh,
That's fine.
gotcha.
Very briefly, Karuto can also hear something out there it's hard to identify. It's far away. It's definitely far away. But Navali, you pick up on it and your stomach churns a little bit. Because it's a sound that you recognize because you really don't like it. It's the sound of chewing meat.
Huh. All right, Navalia will relay that.
I guess maybe you were right. There might be something else out there eating them.
Kind of ironic. The screaming antelope tried so hard to eat us, and now other things are eating it.
Quite the food chain they have out here.
Were the screaming antelopes considered large or huge creatures? I'm trying to remember.
They were
Think
considered
it was large.
huge.
Oh,
Oh.
huge. Fuck me.
So we're avoiding danger at all costs, I assume.
Nah, I just thought we'd have a bit, bit dangerous a treat. Go run toward it.
I'd
I mean,
prefer
if you want to, I'm happy to have you run towards it.
No.
I'd prefer to get in as few fights as possible. We've seen what those things can do. But if it's just one lion or one antelope, I'm not as worried if it can get over quickly. Remember, we fought that antelope when we were a lot weaker, and we won. And all the Iridians said that the antelopes and the lions were kind of as powerful as each other. So if we ran into one of them now, I think we could take it. But the problem is if other things come.
I recall that the antelope was also attracted to sound. And so a battle sort of draws in perhaps external predators. By
Then we
virtue
are
of the sound.
agreed. We avoided.
I know we've supposed to have been training Permilia, but I haven't felt safe.
I completely agree. I don't want to even think about drawing my sword and making sound. Also, I agree with everyone that fighting is a bad idea. Navali,
Yes.
I'm taking that 20 for a second, and just for a brief moment, you hear something that sounds strange, like the whistling of wind. But it's the kind of whistle that the wind can't make, the kind of whistle that happens when something is moving.
Navali will relay that.
The dome is still up in this moment because I did re-up it during my watch.
Yep.
So Leo will recommend that people stand close within the dome, just in case.
Naruto is going to look up.
Carrots, I'll allow you to roll perception because you looked up. Let me roll something real quick. Karato, you look up while you're all waiting in that dome, and for a brief moment you see something huge flap its wings once and then zoom off into the distance. Uh, Large feathers seem to fall down from it, and you fought huge birds before, but as you're watching those feathers, something strange seems to happen. You watch it float down, and before it even touched the feathers touch the ground, they seem to disintegrate into ash.
Hmm. Interesting.
But you're also very confident that it didn't see you or was coming towards you because it just flew off.
It seems we must also watch the skies with a keen eye. But we may proceed.
Assuming that you proceed on Karuto's advice.
It seems wise.
Yeah.
You proceed. You continue onward towards the oasis. Today, the heat is sweltering and it's difficult. I would like two of you to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
2 of us, you say?
Yep, you may decide which two.
I volunteer.
Oh, how kind of you.
I'm gonna stay within 10 feet of the people who are doing that.
I'm going to assume this entire time all of you are literally huddled around Navali.
I'd also like to volunteer Promelia, as they both have very high con saves.
I'll allow it.
Sure.
She is in the party.
All right, any objections?
Sure.
Nope.
All right, I'm
Go for
rolling.
it.
Add +2 to both of these. Promelia's
Well-
a god, of course.
Why?
10 for 6.
6. You forgot how bad this can get with your fur. It feels as if you are melting. I need you to mark an exhaustion.
Got it.
Vermelia, you're fine. Of course she's fine. Why would she ever have danger?
Armor doesn't get hot.
Apparently not. But the day goes by with the exception of Six's exhaustion without any other incident. You can tell she's tired, worn down, and knowing that there's still much more journey to go, it just makes it feel harder. Anyway, 5th night.
Second verse, same with the first.
I thought it was the 4th.
I am looking at my notes wrong. You're correct. I was looking at 5th day.
If I'm not mistaken, exhaustions aren't cured during these nightly rests, right? We'd have to do a specific.
Correct.
Okay.
You'd have to either spend more supplies, do a long rest, or find a safe place. Hence why that random event can be brutal.
That makes sense.
Karuto,
Mhm.
I have excellent news. You
We
are
get attacked?
actually confident that nothing is coming for you tonight.
It's a bloody relief.
At least during your watch. Second
Does 6
watch?
chat at all, or is she too tired?
What's up?
Does 6 chat at all, or is she too tired?
She looks rough. She doesn't
just-
initiate conversations. She'll talk, but she's not going to initiate them.
Just light banter occasionally then.
She doesn't respond.
No.
Second watch.
You mind? Slow start?
Mhm.
Okay.
Go for it.
It was bound to happen eventually.
Navali, it is very stressful to be doing this every single day. And as time goes on, the silence just becomes more and more disconcerting to you.
Makes sense.
Can I assume that Leo made a dome because I didn't talk about any windstorms?
Yeah, sure.
Don't worry, nothing attacked you. I just wanted to write these things down for no reason whatsoever. Third watch.
Go for it.
Reverence. You hear something squirming in the sand almost 30 feet from you. It's quiet, it's small, but something is extremely close to the dome.
I pointed out to Leo immediately.
The dome is not a circle or a sphere, right? As far as things getting in from under.
Correct. There's a floor for the dome. You can't burrow into it.
Okay, but okay. Leo looks in that direction. Is it coming towards us?
You don't actually see anything. You just every now and then can hear like a little scratching sound. And several holes in the sand.
But it's pretty quiet.
Extremely, yes.
I feel secure in the dome, but I'm not sure.
Is there just one or are there a few?
The holes? There's just one. Oh, I shouldn't say there's just one hole. There are several holes, but they look like they're made by a single creature. Like it popped in and out. And it's definitely the scratching is with a 25, you know, is by a single thing currently.
And it doesn't seem terribly big, you said?
Seems small.
I guess we just keep an eye on it for now.
That's the only. I mean, I I feel like we're safe, but I could be wrong. Who knows?
We'll just kind of keep tabs on it throughout his watch and just kind of see, does it get closer? What does it do? Is it just hanging out?
You don't actually see anything, so it's hard to tell if it's getting closer or anything.
Sorry.
That scratching sound.
Yeah, just I guess kind of listening for underground movement, I guess, would be what it would be.
Roll me nature.
Oh,
Whatever this thing
Dragon.
is, it could be horrifying.
You're a city boy. You have no clue.
Correct. So I will ask before the sun comes up, do you do anything in particular to try and figure this out, or do you simply pray nothing happens in the night?
I think pray nothing happens. I've considered if it's worth like resummoning my familiar as a different, like, night vision animal to go crawling through holes and stuff, but it just seems like poking the hornet's nest. So I'm not doing anything.
Morning comes and nothing attacked you in the night. Rev, you are still looking at those holes and your ears still twitch as you hear something scratching underneath.
Is it still like 30 feet from the dome?
Yeah, super close.
I do when everybody's awake. I suppose getting breakfast and we've informed them of this sound. Leo says, if whatever it is right here, we probably can't just. It'd probably be hard to avoid its detection by leaving, so I could draw it out and see what it is.
How quietly could you do that?
I would need, well, to draw it out, I need some kind of noise, but I could send my Watson ghost thing out with a bell or something. I don't know.
I mean, if you want to fuck with it, sure.
I mean, our goal is to avoid danger. I'm just sort of seeing if people feel like we can get out of this or not.
For clarity, it doesn't seem aggressive, it just seems to be digging nearby, correct?
As far as you can tell, but you also rolled a 1 in nature.
I don't think I'll be able to even be able to roll a nature for this and be like, ah, yes, burrowing creatures, this thing which I have lots of experience with.
I mean, I'd still let you with like context of, well, for one, you used to be a fox. You literally hunted burrowing creatures.
True, true. Well, let's give it a go.
Karuto,
Yes.
when all of this is pointed out to you and you listen to the scratching, it definitely sounds like a burrowing creature who is more seeking warmth and a place that was safe for the night rather than something that is aggressive and trying to attack you. It's also definitely very small, like lizard small, not giant monster.
I do not think it is a threat. It sounds far too small. Not like most of the beasts we have seen here.
Well, very well. If it's not worth concerning ourselves over, then I suppose we start making distance, yes?
He nods.
Vostra,
Yes.
could you roll a perception as everyone starts packing up and ready to move?
Sure can.
As everyone's getting ready and you hear that scratchiness for a second, you turn your head, you see something pop out of the sand. And it's still a very strange looking thing. For a second, you think it looks like a pale, scaled lizard that might be camouflaging the sand. So you realize it's the shape and movement of a lizard, but it doesn't have scales. That is flesh. And its claws seem to dig with enough force that it almost seems to be able to do this without any issue. And its large bug eyes turn to stare at you for a second, and a tongue flicks out and then starts to crawl away.
How close was it?
30 feet away.
But it clearly started heading away from us.
Yes.
I will mention it to the group. There was a scary lizard flesh thingy over there, but I don't think it wants to mess with us.
Character nods, satisfied but not smug.
So I suppose I should check. Is everyone just good for traveling for day 5?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there any way to confirm that we're still heading in the right direction?
I will allow survival or nature, but overall, just a lot of sand. It's a guesswork, and using the sun as your best guiding factor.
Okay.
Survival, you say? Boop.
You're pretty confident that you've been leading in the right direction, Karuto.
Nice. The spirits are still with me.
It's like you're cheating.
I'm not cheating.
You're using the dead to help you.
Yeah, I'm using resources available to me.
Regardless,
Mm-hmm.
Karuto.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm going to randomly decide who gets to roll this. Karuto! I would like you to roll me perception.
Perception, you say?
Karuto, your mind, just for a brief second, sees something in the sand move. Like, you've been traveling for a few hours for the day, and you think for a second, oh, it's just a mirage. But something in the sand definitely just repositioned and is following you. But it's so faint, you're not even sure that's real.
Karito looks a little suspicious and draws his bow. There might be a creature stalking us. I cannot be certain with these shifting sands. Remain ready.
How does the rest of the party respond to that?
Abject paranoia and weapons out.
Yeah, Rebel draws blade.
Same.
Yep. Navali's gonna keep her ears, listening.
Are we pausing or are we walking with our weapons?
It's a good question.
I would suggest walking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The party can decide someone besides Karuto to also roll me perception. As you walk forward, weapons now drawn cautiously.
Leo.
I have a high roll, but I have disadvantage.
For what?
Perception.
I can roll perception.
It would not be hearing.
Okay. And it's everybody but Karuto?
Anybody but Karuto. Like, you choose one person in the party.
Navali has a +6.
No, go for
Or
it.
sorry,
Do it.
+5. +5. Sorry.
Do it anyway.
Yeah.
I believe.
Navali, you don't hear anything, and you don't see anything, and your weapon is out, but you aren't convinced there's danger at the moment. It feels as if the sand itself might be tricking Karuto, and you're not completely sure. It also makes you more paranoid.
6. Is there any stories regarding travel into the Rasahari Desert that might cause to see things, I should say.
Leo looks at Rev.
I'm gonna not even ask you to roll for this, Six. Like, mirages exist in all deserts. That's just common.
Yeah, it's normal. It's like when it gets really hot, it makes you see things.
Might be a day that we drink a little bit of extra water.
Character looks a little annoyed at the implication that you might be seeing things, but says nothing beyond that.
So I have to ask, do you continue to be weapons drawn and kind of slow down and be very cautious as you move forward?
Well, character's leading party and character is doing that, so.
That's fair.
Also, I'm going to throw this out here. My senses don't believe Karito, but Karito's been right about a lot of things, so I'm going to choose to believe him anyway.
Totally fair. As you push forward for almost a solid good hour of extremely cautious weapons drawn, Karito, every now and then you, again, just briefest glimpses of shifting sands that doesn't seem normal to your eyes. That has to be something. I would like a wisdom saving throw from Karito, and you may choose one other person of just the paranoia getting to you.
Oh lord. Wisdom saving throw from me. We'll do that quickly. I probably get a plus from Navali, right?
+2. Yep.
So 15 from me. And the other person, let's see. You know, I'm going to say Navali because she doubted me.
You know that there's logic to that.
She has a +5, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, go for
A 10.
it.
I'm glad you're not level 10, Navali. You know why? Karito
Right.
and Navali have fear.
Oh.
You're not sure what you're afraid of yet, but something in the back of your mind just seems to be constantly beating up against you, and you feel as if either this paranoia of the desert is driving you crazy, Navali, or some creature here is actively fucking with you, Karito, and this disturbs you in the fact that they have the ability to even do that.
Mm.
However, I'm going to assume you keep pressing forward.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact Navali and Karito currently have the fear condition, nothing seems to attack them during the day. Shall I assume that you bed down for the night?
Seems like the thing to do.
Yeah, but Karito advises greater caution during that watch.
Rev would like to take a watch with Six.
Sure.
Shake things up.
Sure. You want to be first watch?
Sure.
For the sake of simplicity, unless told otherwise, I'm going to assume that Leo and
Yep.
Rev just switched.
That's fine. Or yeah.
Sure.
And just a quick, sorry, again, a logistics question. Are conditions like fear also need a long rest to recover from?
Not normally, but this one hasn't seemed to gone away yet.
Scanlan, before I bed down,
Sure.
I would like to roll a nature to ponder on when an ambush predator, would be most likely to attack
Sure.
during a nighttime. Boop.
If it's an ambush predator, it's going to wait until it sees someone either isolated or possibly the moment that you are not currently armed or not moving. That being said, you have a dome to protect you from a lot of things.
Cool. Character cautions that under no condition is anyone to move off by themselves. And keep weapons close by as well.
So, Karato, I assume there's no objections to you switching with Rev, so Rev can have that conversation with Six?
Sure.
And watch order?
That's totally fine.
Rev and Six, go ahead. You know the rules.
I have disadvantage because I'm exhausted, so I'll give you advantage.
I might be mean and just say you have to roll normally.
I can do that.
Up to you.
What's the call, Skern?
Yeah, I'm going to say that you can't really help while exhausted, so you could roll it with disadvantage still. Can't see anything out there.
Six.
Huh.
The thing with the pale moon, the phenomenon that occurs, Leo expressed to me some concerns about it.
I'm not surprised. What did he say?
The incidents of it occurring, I think he indicated that they well, occurred exclusively to Tabaxi and kind of anywhere in the Rasahari.
So he thinks I'm gonna go crazy.
I think he mentioned it as a point of caution, not just for you, but for either of us.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You're a Tabaxi too. Okay, he thinks we're gonna go crazy.
I don't think that's necessarily what he was saying either. I think he was just indicating that, well, I mean, these things did happen. It is maybe a possibility. I guess I'm saying I don't want to necessarily rule it out, but I also don't know what there is to really do about it.
Nothing to do. If I go crazy, I know you guys will stop me.
And the same for me.
Yeah. You like getting the shit beaten out of you. We're supposed to train with Permelia, but she gestures vaguely at everything.
I I don't know. Maybe if we travel to City of Red Sands or the City of Winds, there might be some time and space.
Roswin says the Oasis of Flowers is safe.
Oh, well. Maybe there will be time.
I think there's going to be a big monster there. I think we're gonna have to fight it, and then it'll be safe.
A big monster.
Yeah.
I mean,
Karuto and I used the sake bottle. It showed a fight.
It showed the fight with a monster.
Just a fight. We couldn't see everything.
Hmm.
It's not really the moon, you know, it's an eidolon.
Your brother is supposed to be here, yes?
Yeah.
Do you know what you'll say to him?
I'm working on that part.
Or not?
I must have gone through it like 50 times now.
Rev looks like he's grasping to try to find conversation. It's not that there aren't things to talk about, it's just that he looks very, very tense.
What? What's your deal?
My deal.
You look... She gestures. You look mad. Did I piss you off by saying you like getting the shit beat out of you? I was joking.
No, 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 no. No. I look pissed?
Yeah, you look pissed.
You know, I tried to talk to Permelia about being approachable, and she didn't really seem to know what I meant, but I feel like this is a demonstration of the opposite because I wasn't trying to look pissed.
Oh.
I'm stressed. I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I'm
it's scary.
thankful that we've gotten through so far with as little difficulty as we have.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
I don't know anything, man.
I don't know. I hope our luck will hold.
Yeah.
What's up with you?
I didn't realize that those monsters had kids.
I see.
Well, Scarlet said they came from the abyss. That's like what? That's like it's like a place and they just pop out of it.
I think he indicated something. I think he said a portal, didn't he? I could be misremembering that, but I think he said something to that effect. But you didn't.
I was silent because it's close enough.
But you didn't think that they had young procreated.
No, do monsters like how are monsters made? How like lions? Yeah, but this is like a monster lion. This is like an abyss lion. What even is the abyss?
You got me. I have no idea.
I don't know. It sounds nasty. And we're supposed to go into it. I just think it's sad. This is stupid. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think it's stupid. Actually, it puts me in the mind of when we talked about coming out here. You said you weren't going to do what Rosawin wanted. You wanted to find some things out. How is this any different? If we don't know anything about it, or if they, I don't know, have whatever, we don't know anything about them or where they come from, we can find that out.
Yeah, what are they doing here? Why is the Abyss here? I'm assuming
that-
the Abyss isn't supposed to be in the desert.
That would be my guess, especially from what. Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah, it sounded bad.
So this is just one more thing. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, Rev, it's a really big thing.
I'm not trying to undermine it. I apologize.
I don't feel undermined. What does that even mean?
I'm not trying to undercut your point, your feelings.
Oh, okay, no, I don't think you're doing that.
Okay.
It's fine, we're like halfway there. And
Yeah.
the only monster that we encountered was some, like, shit-ass stupid fucking baby that we would have kicked the shit out of anyway if it had picked a fight with us. Like, what, and some dumbass bird that ran away. We've got this. We've kicked the shit out of those giant babies and that fucking goat. God, it tried to eat me and I killed it from the inside. What a stupid piece of shit.
You tore it apart from the inside out, yes.
I want to remind everybody that you're having this conversation directly next to the sleeping party.
Fuck. Yeah, it's fine. We've got this.
It smiles a little bit. We do.
Rev and Six, could you both remember perception again? Rev, you're focused on the conversation, especially on every now and then glancing towards to see if talking is starting to stir anybody. Six, you look towards the dome. I notice there's a lot of sand that wasn't there before.
Would I say that the sand has built up uncharacteristically quickly?
Yes.
Okay, and is it, like, centered on one particular side or all around us?
It looks as if it's centered kind of everywhere, like it was sprayed on top of you.
I look up?
You just see sand.
Is the whole dome covered now?
Not completely.
Something's throwing sand on us, Rev. I gotta get out there and dig it out.
I will go with you.
Karuto said we can't go back. He said we can't go out on our own.
Is this the end of our watch? Could we wake up the next watch and have them on standby?
I'll say it's about halfway through your watch, but you could wait until the end of your watch and do it.
I want to actively watch the sand to see if it gets worse, and if it gets worse, we're getting everybody up. Does that sound fair to you, Rev?
Yes.
Roll investigation or perception, and because you're saying it out loud, you can both do it. Tired Six is weirdly good at this.
She's focused.
Six, Rev, you don't notice anything. Every now and then you see some sand building off of the edge, but you're in a desert. Sometimes that happens. There's a brief moment for a split second where you just see a quick wave of sand, like something kicked it directly onto the dome. That's just coming not far away. And when you glance there, you see a hint of movement, but then you can't see anything again. There's too much sand, or whatever this thing is hard to see.
Yeah, something's trying to bury us.
But it's not doing it consistently. It's not constantly kicking it off. It's every now and then, as if it's trying to do this subtly.
Yeah, it thinks we're not gonna notice. This thing knows what it's doing. We're getting everybody up. I'm gonna go kick the shit out of it.
Yes, let's do that.
I'm awake now.
I'm sorry, you saw something?
There's
Uh,
something. Yeah,
As the rest of you wake up, you do notice that there's a lot of sand covering the dome at the moment. You're not fully buried. You can get out pretty easily at the moment, but it's a lot more than any other night.
Was it particularly windy?
No, this is suspicious. Like, it's way too fast. There's like a creature doing it. I saw it.
Hmm. Should we move early?
I think there's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, Leo starts putting on his armor because we need that.
Okay, Navali's gonna start helping Carmen her armor and getting her
Did the
into
same for
hers.
you, obviously.
Yeah.
You all get fully dressed and armed. You're in a dome. Nothing attacks you in the dome.
So the dome's completely covered up.
No, just it has sand all over it. You can still get out without too much issue, but it's not buried by any means. It's just there's a lot more than there was any other day. And as Six mentions, every now and then, I would like Navali and Kara to roll me perception.
It's at disadvantage though, right?
No.
Okay.
I was going to ask 6 for a leg up to try and poke my head out the top of the dome. If that is allowed.
I mean, I'm going to allow it. Does Six do that?
She does not do it.
No?
Sorry, I know it's like it's pretty optimal. She doesn't do it.
Okay. I'll just do a normal perception check then.
As Six mentions, it seems unnatural for a second. There's a brief pause, and then Navali and Karata, you both just see another wave of sand. Definitely in the kind of way of like a splash of a wave just slamming onto the dome for a split second. Like that is not wind. That is something trying to throw sand on you. But as both of you look outward to figure out what did that, a mixture of sand and whatever this thing is, it's just you can't seem to catch a glimpse of it.
Does the ground feel like it's vibrating at all?
No.
Leon, perhaps one of your wide hitting spells might be useful here.
In the sense of trying to reveal it.
He nods. Can you?
Well, as soon as I do that, the dome does disappear, so we'll want to fan out because I can't cast spells from inside the dome.
Well, I assume there is no avoiding this.
I'm also not keen. My wide hitting spells, as you remember, are quite loud. Maybe I should not be using them.
A good point.
I mean, do we just charge at it while it's digging? See if we can find it.
Yeah, what is it gonna do? Run away? We can just dig the. Well, we don't have a dome anymore, but like, if we're not in danger, you can just make another one, can't you?
Leo nods. It doesn't make Carto fly, and you just pop shots at it from above. I don't know.
I will mention, Karuto Navali, you are still afraid, you just cannot see what you're afraid of.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Karuto seems uneasy about engaging it directly, but not enough to speak up.
When we have our armor on, if no one stops me, I'm gonna go out there and aggress it.
Rev will join you and also Pandora Trigger.
All right. Rev's going all out, I see.
Rev
Leo
not
doesn't
taking
want
any
to.
chances.
Yeah, Leo wants to pre-activate, like, Blade Song and perhaps, yeah, just Blade Song for now.
Okay. There's no issues in prepping spells.
But Leo will go out as well, and thereby, destroying the dome.
I'm going to ask who leaves first.
One of Rev or I, probably me.
Does that sound good to you, Rev?
Not good, but accurate, maybe.
Okay. The moment you leave, there is a held action that happens, and then I'm going to move you to a combat map where our initiative is going to actually start.
Gotcha.
Combat in my D&D game?
I know, right?
In the super dangerous desert that you warned us about? That doesn't make any sense.
Does a 16 hit you?
No.
As you leave the dome, a strange large human hand seems to try to grab you, Six. You mentioned dodge out of the way, and before you can react, the thing seems to be running away as if thinking it caught you. Looking carefully about, you can tell that it's just almost camouflaged by the sand itself, and it seems to be shimmering for a bit, and then gets some distance. Uh, Before I move you to battle map, could I get a perception from both you and Rev?
Tired 6 is weirdly good at this.
Cool. This is the first time they failed stealth. You watch the one that tried to swing at you, and it goes a bit further to your south and a bit further to your southwest. Then you glance up and notice there's a second one to the north, just waiting, as if watching to see if they can isolate you. We're going to go move to a combat map, then take a break before the battle.
Excellent.
Oh no.
As the dome disappears when Leo leaves, the rest of you can see, especially when pointed out by Reverence and Six, these two lions almost encircling you. It looks as if they intended to see if you would be an easy meal, and now a fight has truly began. Celestia, you are first to react.
Excellent. I think they seem aggressive. Is that correct?
You did get to see one swipe at Six before running away.
Okay. And they're fixated on us and look like they want to do things.
They want to eat your meat, yes.
Very good, very good. In that case, I will put up Spirit Guardians and do my best to protect the group.
Sounds good. Any movement?
I will stay here.
Okay. I assume no bonus action because that I don't know what bonus actions you'd have.
Correct.
6.
I'm going to dodge and prep Tabaxi Dash.
These are weirdly fast turns. Well, it triggers Spirit Guardians. It is a Wisdom saving throw, I believe.
Sure is.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Hooray!
Should I just take that 15 you rolled earlier?
There's an 8.
I was going to be nice and take the first roll, and I still will.
Okay.
As the snakes start chewing at it, you can see that it's slowing it down, but this thing still moves with surprising speed. It attempts to use its weird human hand to swipe at Reverence. Is that a hit?
That's a hit.
Can I reaction that?
You may.
I'm going to reaction it.
Please tell me which reaction.
The move where she gets in front and takes the damage.
Okay, so you're aware you would be grappled instead then.
Oh. I was hoping I could avoid that.
You are literally jumping the way of the hand.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. In that case, take 13 as the hand clasps around you.
Mm-hmm.
Use this symbol for you being grabbed for now. Rev, you get an attack opportunity as it then pounces away with her. That does not hit.
Uh-oh.
And that's its max movement, even after going into Spirit Guardian. Navali.
Yes. Am I up?
Need you to take 5 damage. Dex save.
A dex save?
Yes.
15.
15 is enough to avoid taking the damage as it's dragging you across the ground. It is definitely trying to actually harm you as it does this. Additionally, it's one more attack.
Miss.
It's unable to bite you. Permelia.
Permelia is going to go save her girlfriend. I'm going to take the dash action.
Okay.
And I'm going to get... Here? I think here is good.
Okay.
And that'll be Permelia.
Reverence.
Hey, I think Rev first thing is gonna bonus action Hexblade's curse this lion. And then run over here. And then he's gonna use his chakrams to attack the lion.
Go for it. That is a hit. Carves into it very deeply. As you might imagine,
hell
that is a
yeah.
hit.
My
I'm
Hell
not
yeah.
surprised.
Hell yeah.
Oh, bruh.
Can Navali attempt to break free because of that?
I am going to say no because he crits so often. I'd have to make that a ruling.
Oh.
But you watch as it gets slammed to the ground while you're still in its grasp, and it howls in pain. Actually, wait, that's a crit. I need to roll a d10.
Me?
No.
Okay.
Oh, that's you cut directly into its leg, and it seems to have some issues doing something it really wanted to do immediately after your turn. It is unable to use its legendary reactions now. Thanks for this round.
well, that's just neat.
Is this KDM rules?
It might be.
Amazing.
Love it.
That is it.
Yep, that's it for me.
And you know what that means? We can activate hard mode this fight with a very graphic attack.
Yes, that's what happened if you rolled a 1.
Oh no!
Karuto.
So let me just quickly look up the effect of fear.
You are unable to move closer to it, and you have disadvantage if you are within sight. You are afraid of both lions.
Yay! I don't have to do the move away thing, do I?
You can move away without any issues, but you don't have to.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's the fear spell, not the frightened effect. There you go.
Yes.
For once in his long illustrious career with the shield, Karuto looks uncertain about attacking. He can see both lines pretty clearly, and there's a very clear, direction of escape. But he doesn't run. He instead tries his best to face what's been stalking him all day, what's been sat in the back of his mind with no form or shape, but now is very clearly before him. And he tries to face his fear in a very visceral way by attacking it.
The red or the blue one?
Red one.
Okay. I mean, you have disadvantage either way, so it's fine that it's on the ground.
Oh, sorry, it's prone. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it can't be double prone, can it?
You can hit it while it's prone. No issues.
Yeah, I'm just saying it can't be double proned.
Correct.
We prone it so hard it's through the floor. Just doing some things real quick. Not magic items. So we need to go through like a cleanup of the other handouts.
I'm aware.
Because I'm like, where's my Idola? Oh. In fact, you know what? Karuto so determined that he must overcome his fear, and I say save his friends. Nivali's technically saved right now, but whatever. That he closes his eyes, and his bow and the arrow knocked to it start glowing with a pure bright light, and he looses it with otherworldly guidance. I'm going to be using Blessed Strike.
Okay.
So plus 10 to my attack.
Yes, still rolling a disadvantage with plus 10 to the attack. Cannot sneak attack either way, so you're good.
20.
That definitely hits.
Nice. Oh, I say 20, 28.
28, yes.
The roller will be 20, but then add 8 to my attack bonus. Ignore the sneak attack,
Yeah,
so
I'll take the
5
5.
damage.
Rev, you watch an arrow zoom right by you, actually veer up and then down into it. Guided by an unseen hand. Anything else?
Nope, we're going to stay in among my friends.
Okay. Navali.
Okay, so it is proned.
It is currently prone. You are still in its hand, but that doesn't matter for your attacks.
So can I get out?
So you could try and struggle out, but that would be your action.
So I couldn't get out and then take a hit?
Correct.
And is it pretty bloodied?
It looks really hurt. It also looks like one of its legs got hamstringed really hard.
And I'm guessing since it's on the ground, I can't argue that I'd have advantage trying to get out of it.
I would allow advantage, but it's still your action to do so.
Would it be an athletics?
It's athletics versus its strength.
You know what? I think I'm actually just gonna hit it.
Hold on, no double checking. It has an escape DC, but yes, you could escape that way.
Okay. I think I'm actually just gonna try to hit it.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay. Oh,
Oh no.
Goodness.
I think we know what's going to happen here. I think we all know what's going to happen here.
How delightful.
Smite!
I am going to level 3 smite.
Okay, so this lion came out, thought it was going to be real smart and grab one of you, and then got smited with 2 crits. Got it. Continue.
You know, listen, it shouldn't be grabbing giant bunnies. Bad things happen to things that grab giant bunnies.
I will need a d10 after you roll your damage. Ow.
All right. Oh boy. Yay. But it can't wait. I thought it said that you couldn't use a legendary action its turn.
It can't. This is not anything about a legendary action.
Okay.
Add an additional d8 to your damage.
Okay. So, ooh, that's a lot of damage. So that's 13 plus 18 plus 11 plus 2 plus 8. 52 damage.
Yep.
A D8.
D8, not 8. I need you to actually roll.
Oh, sorry. 6. So,
Fixing. Done. We're good. You manage to struggle, get your sword out, and slam your sword directly to where the most vital part of any creature that you know is, its genitals. And with a flash of light, you remove what would remain of it. It looks extremely angry and upset, and as if it is going to do anything in its power to murder you.
that's Navali?
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I have an extra attack.
Yeah, that was one swing.
Yeah, that was one swing. I get an extra attack.
I'm aware. Continue. I should mention, this actually has advantage because it's prone, even if you're grappled.
But she has fear.
But I fear.
Oh, yeah, fear. You're correct. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, 19 hits. Okay. You gash into it again, and its eyes flare red and stare directly at you.
How bad does it look?
Really hurt.
It's taken quite a beating.
Yes. In the meantime, walks into Spirit Guardians.
All right. Did my sheet go? There it is. I am.
As the snakes start biting into it, it seems to ignore it and go straight for 6. 6. Does 19 hit?
I'm dodging.
Oh, you are dodging. I'll roll a second time. 14 doesn't hit, I know that.
That's a miss.
As it tried to grab you, it misses twice. Its teeth then go up straight. Actually, no. It's gonna, as if it was about to grab you, misses completely. Its eyes then fixate elsewhere and moves down to try and bite Karuto.
Does this provoke?
No, because it would technically be like here.
That makes sense.
It's just I was doing it for visual indication.
Gotcha.
Karuto, it has advantage because you're afraid and has a special feature for that.
Oh, it bites me.
Ugh.
Woo, the crit, jeez.
Don't worry, it didn't crit, but only take 9.
Yep.
Do double checking its movement. Double checking its other option. Nope. It's just now you all get an attack opportunity as it takes a few steps back,
Hooray.
including Celestra.
I get one disadvantage, don't I?
Yes, but your bow is currently out.
Are you saying I had to hold my bow at all times in both hands?
I am saying that you're not also drawing a sword as that requires in your action. It is actually important. You could punch it.
Can I use Divine Strike on my attack of opportunity?
Divine Strike is automatic.
Very cool.
I attack with my bow, improvised weapon. No, I don't.
You could if you want to just like flavor an unarmed, but it's up to you if you want to, Karuto.
No, I'm not gonna.
The 23 does hit 6.
Goading attack.
Sounds good. I believe that's wisdom.
Yes. I rake it across its muzzle and call it a coward.
You're not sure if it understands the words, but it definitely did not like being hit across the muzzle.
Bad kitty. Bad.
I believe goading attack just means disadvantage on anything it's not attacking, not that it can't move away from you.
Correct. It can get as far away as it wants, just disadvantage if it attacks anybody but me until or on its next turn.
Okay. That is the end of its turn. Leo.
It's currently nighttime, right?
Yes.
Okay. Leo will use a bonus action for Thunderblade at level 2. So I can get my amazing triple advantage situation. Knowing that it's currently goaded, I'm just going, Leo is kind of trying to do guerrilla tactics here to hit it a few times and then run back. I will enjoy a couple main hand attacks.
That is a hit.
Okay.
That's a hit.
Well, big 15 thunder damage. As I just imagine Leo Thunderblade being more of like a vibrating buzzsaw sort of effect. Although he's holding what is functionally like an invisible sword almost when he does it, but he uses bonus action, so he's going to step back because 6 is still dodging. Knowing that I'm provoking.
It will try to swipe you with its hand. It has disadvantage because it is goaded.
Bitch.
Its eyes like swipe at it. Hand swipes at you, but its eyes are glaring at 6 instead.
Okay. I'm debating my position just for the sake of being in front of Karito, or trying to reduce risk to Karito at the moment. So I'll stand right here. That's it.
It's going to take a legendary action its turn, the blue one. Red one can't at the moment. Thanks, someone. Just to reposition over to here. Celestra.
Hello. How injured is the red one looking?
Extremely.
Okay.
The red one also looks like it doesn't care about anything other than killing Navali.
Okay. Well, Lastra is going to run up to the red one and give it a big old bonk.
It's
15?
prone. You have advantage.
Aha.
Yeah.
20 hits.
That is a big old bonk.
It is a hell of a bonk. It's still moving, but it's clearly dazed and having a lot of issues, and also it just has blood in its eyes and is just staring directly at Navali.
All right. I think that's all I can do.
6.
All right, I want to make sure this thing dies and also look good doing it. I'm going to activate Tabaxi Dash. And as I'm running toward the red lion, I say to Permilia, I'm going high, you go low. And I look for any sign of recognition.
She seems to understand, though I'm going to also point out it is nighttime. She is having issues seeing.
Gotcha. Okay, so it would just be a normal roll?
For her, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna... Does this count as a line?
No, you have to be all the way over here.
Gotcha. I can do that.
Yeah, you're Tabaxi. I'm not surprised.
I activate our ultimate attack. I'm Commander Striking Perm.
Okay.
I'll roll mine first and then Permilia's.
Oh.
27 hits.
I don't
15 does not.
All right. I'm going to goading attack this one as well.
Sure. I actually have written down something hilarious. It is currently immune to it.
Amazing. It still does extra damage.
That's fine.
For a total of 19 slashing damage. I'm assuming it's still up.
Yes, though
Cool.
bleeding heavily.
Action surge.
I'm going to ask, why? Oh, it's prone. That's why you're rolling advantage. That makes sense. Yes,
Yep.
7 hits. It hasn't gotten a turn. Hasn't been able to stand up with legendary because someone cut its leg. 18 hits.
I'm going to stack as much damage as possible on it, so I'm goading again.
Makes complete sense. Ooh. You cut into its belly and it starts to spill outward, but it still twitches ever so slightly.
Gotcha. With my remaining 15 feet of movement, I'm going to go right here.
Okay.
Spirit Guardians.
Yeah, which might kill it.
Yay.
Spirit Guardians!
So
I will let you know.
Oops. The 8 doesn't count, sorry.
It had 11 HP.
Yes!
Yay.
How do the Spirit Guardians do this?
The snakes enter the open wound and bite its heart open. Nom nom nom.
You all watch as these ethereal snakes rip through all the wounds that Six just made. And as it desperately tries to stand up, blood in its eyes, tries to open its mouth to devour Navali, all you see is snakes in its mouth. and it starts coughing and hacking blood and snakes and falls to the ground as the snakes start ripping through its flesh. And let's just say it's a very gruesome sight for everyone around. So anyway, it didn't get to do any of its rage stuff because it got crit twice.
Because it's a little bitch.
Vermelia.
Permelia is going to use the dash action to cover Lyrin. And that will be Permelia's turn.
Reverence.
Okay. Real quick, I just wanted to clarify something for my own clarification regarding the charges. When
Sure.
you crit, it was also over 50 damage. Is that 2 charges?
That is 2 charges.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I think my range is 15 feet, right? So
The Chakram's correct.
wait, I'm gonna hit it.
Okay, but could you not crit this time?
No promises.
I command you to crit.
Jesus.
What? What?
Jeez.
Hey, it works for Karato.
You
My
spite?
lord.
I don't think I smite the. But I want to though. I'm weak. I'm gonna smite.
Okay, I will need a D10 after this.
Maybe I shouldn't smite.
It's up to you.
I'm not gonna smite. I'm gonna save the spell slot for now.
Still need a D10. Your blade knocks into it and it seems to be disoriented and having issues figuring out where the attacks are coming from. You get the feeling you temporarily lowered its AC.
Just in time for another one.
That hits. Anything else?
I'm gonna move away with the remainder of my 10 movement.
15 feet away. Nope, can't do anything.
Oh, there, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Karuto.
So realizing that these things are very much mortal and vulnerable, and in fact we have the situation under control, and my party has me covered. Would you allow an action to try and shake off fear?
I would.
What would you like to do that?
I would request a wisdom saving throw. I will
A
even allow it
wisdom.
with advantage considering you watch the other lion explode in snakes.
Nice.
Good thing you had advantage. You shake off the fear.
Sweet. And that's all I can do as an action, but Carter seems much more confident. He gives a nod of thanks to Perm and Leorin, and then moves sort of to the back of the party and readies himself. No longer in easy reach.
End of your turn, it spends a legendary action to just suddenly rush towards Rev. Hey, Navali.
Navali is going to.
You cannot approach it because you're afraid of it.
I am afraid of it,
Yes.
even if I close my eyes.
Even if you know it's in front of you.
Okay. Navali is going to point her finger at the creature heading to Rev and say, "Grovel."
That might
Man.
work.
Level 1 command.
That's a good spell.
Oh my goodness.
Wisdom saving throw?
It is a wisdom saving throw. Well, okay. The one time it succeeds their wisdom.
It was such a good idea.
Such a good idea.
It's a great idea, and I would have laughed if it worked, because it would have been fucked.
All right. Let's see. I can't do anything then. That's me. I don't think I have
Okay.
any bonus. No, I'm good. Okay, yeah, sorry, that's me.
All good. Rev,
Hello.
it did not like that.
Goodness.
It is goaded, right?
No.
No, 6 never hit this one. End of 6's last turn.
Yeah.
Oh, it only lasts. Okay, I thought it lasted longer.
Inopportune timing. It's very powerful if I use it on my turn, but if I use it between turns, it's much less effective.
Correct. So anyway, I assume an 18 hits.
Perfect dodge. I'm gonna use one charge as a reaction to add +2 to my AC,
Causing it
And-
to miss.
and I move 5 feet.
I mean, you didn't move out of its range, so it just tries again. It can't use that hand, but it has 2 other attacks for this.
Is my AC still +2?
No.
Okay, then that hits.
And bite.
Uh-oh. That hits.
It then tries to get away from you. You get attack of opportunity. That is a hit.
I think my roll 20 is going weird.
Uh, 11 damage. You cut across its side as it backs away and seems to be reanalyzing the situation. Moves over in this direction as if trying to figure out exactly how you killed the other one. Hey, Leo.
Boy. I didn't expect it to be out of range, so one moment. Okay, so I'm gonna. Okay, so if I stand here, then I'll have 20 feet between me and it. Because this is functionally hitting right the corner. I'm hitting the corner of it.
Yeah, totally fine.
Okay. Leo throws his Thunderblade, which he can do, as his first attack. I forgot to do the. First of all, I rolled the wrong thing. Second of all, I forgot to roll the correct weapon, so I'm just going to normal advantage for the other 2 rolls.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
25 hits.
and then super advantage for this. So bonus action to resummon the blade, and then throw it again.
Makes sense.
Okay.
And that is a crit.
Ooh.
I will need a d10 after you roll your damage.
I'm just rolling 68 in total,
Makes sense.
Nice.
and then A3.
You know, when it had this like interesting crit thing, I wasn't expecting 4 crits to happen to these lions.
Maybe they
We just
shouldn't
really wanted to
have
see
been
it.
a bitch.
You throw your Thunderblade directly into its eye. It now has disadvantage in all attacks until your next round.
Nice. Leo braces with his Gladius because he cannot bring the Thunderblade back until his next turn. And that's it.
Hey, Slostra.
Hello. Celastra will approach Mr. Lion. And then she can't get close enough for a melee attack, but she will Sacred Flame.
I believe Sacred Flame is a dex save.
It Damn.
Even blinded, it can kind of sense where it's coming from. It seems to have some kind of unnatural sense and gets out of the way.
Okay. That's all.
Hey, 6.
Its armor class is lowered, you said.
Its armor class is lowered and it's blinded.
Excellent. Does this mean that attacks against it have advantage?
No, it has a different kind of sense for that, but it has disadvantage on its own attacks.
I'm going to run up into range with it and Commander Strike Karaito to shoot it.
Karaito feels totally happy doing that. Let's go. Whip. Ooh.
Does a 12 hit?
Unfortunately, a 12 manages to sink into its side, but not deep enough to do actual damage.
Unlucky me this combat. Oh well.
Sure!
Here's my second attack. That's why I said me, not party, just me.
I can't believe you missed with your offhand.
17 hits. You don't have advantage, but 17 still
Yeah,
hits.
8 points of slashing damage.
I assume that's it, because you action turned earlier.
Yes, that is everything. That is the end of my turn. I'm staying right here.
So I have terrible news about the Spirit Guardians thing. It legendary actions to move, and it will not trigger Spirit Guardians by doing this. It does trigger attack of opportunity.
Boo.
6, go ahead and stab it again.
No, I won't.
Done. Parmelia.
I'm gonna. Can I use the brush?
In what way?
Can I use the brush to give myself an armor? I'm thinking of Katia.
There are ways you could use that brush.
I want to crouch in the brush while keeping its attention as Parmelia.
I will allow you, if you're willing to let her roll weird, to roll a charisma to keep its attention.
Well, is this my action?
I'll let it be a bonus action.
Okay. 1, I'm getting in the brush. Number 2, I'm rolling charisma?
Yes, because I don't think she has intimidation trained.
She's gonna be intimidating.
It really wants to kill her for some reason.
Then she's going to take the dodge action.
Of course. Hey, Rev.
Ooh. Okay. And I can see that Parmelia has his attention, correct?
Yes.
Alright, Rev's gonna move over here. And he's whirling his chakram, and then he'll bring it close and hold the actual chakram itself. He'll hold it out, and then he'll kind of leave it there, and it'll linger in the air, and it will begin to glow and crackle with energy as he fires an enormous beam of light at this thing.
You've been trying to do this the entire time you got it.
Yes, do you want me to post it?
I would, yes.
Very excited for this.
Thank you for, and it failed.
So that's 10d10, I believe.
Correct.
10d10. Oh my gosh.
What?
So anyway, it's distracted by Parmelia. It glances with its good eye to the right, and a beam goes straight through it. It is still alive, but it's barely moving.
Dang.
That's my turn.
You've been wanting to use that the entire time you got that idol.
Oh yes, and it was so worth it.
Hey, Karaito.
It's time for Kaito. I'm gonna move closer for a specific reason. Cool. And then he's gonna draw and fire.
Hits.
And this time I get sneak attack damage.
You do.
Woo!
You hit into the open wound that was just created by a giant fucking laser beam, and it howls in pain as the arrow definitely pierced some vital organs, but it still seems to have some fight in it for at least a few more seconds.
And that's me. Yeah, that's me.
Navali.
So I can't move close to it, or I can't move towards it. Can I move next to Leo?
I'll allow it.
Okay. She's gonna just move next to Leo and take the dodge action.
I understand why.
Mhm.
That being said, it really wants to kill Permelia. It has disadvantage not only because she's dodging, because its eye is hurt. No. Holy shit.
Yes, that is a hit.
And no.
She's fine.
I'm going to regret this because I could see her getting the kill, but it tries to move away. Rev and Permelia get the attack of opportunity. $21 hits.
She has
11 doesn't.
disadvantage. Yeah, she has disadvantage anyway.
Yes. Swing cuts into it. It's still moving and alive as it backs in this direction, bleeding heavily and limping in many forms. That is the end of its turn. Leo, you could probably finish it off.
Yeah, Leo will bonus action to resummon the Thunderblade, and it's just going to come up to it in case it tries to legendary action and get away. Triple advantage is fun.
I mean, even though you're definitely going to kill it, I still need a D10.
Okay. Is the second one? It doesn't.
The second one is also a hit.
Okay. Big one.
Well, you remove its genitals just like Navali did as you kill it.
I don't think Leo would aim for the genitals. I think Leo would just go for the head.
The blade vibrates through, and you decapitate the lion in a single solid stroke. As it falls down very clearly dead in front of you, Navali, your fear fades away, clearly supernatural based upon what they are.
That's a relief.
You've done it. You've murdered 2 lions in cold blood.
Excuse you, cold blood?
I don't know about that. It did technically attack first.
It's true.
Self-defense.
It did try to kill you first. But it's still the middle of the night as you are covered in blood, grime, and gore. And many of your resources are used, and exhaustion kind of hits the rest of the party. But you successfully fought some of the monsters without too much difficulty. It is the middle of the night, and this was just during the middle of the first watch, in fact.
Skern, how much dragging the bodies away could we potentially do without compromising our long rest?
Well, technically, you both know you're not getting a long rest, but I know what you meant by that.
Yeah.
I will say, you could try and sleep in a little bit and drag the bodies away over the next hour without too much issue.
I suggest that as a plan because we are aware from previous information that creatures predate each other. And if we leave them here, we're going to wind up to something bigger and nastier eating it.
Agreed.
We could also just walk for an hour.
It's true.
Walking for an hour might be the easier choice, to be honest.
Yeah.
For the same amount of time, it's less exertion.
Absolutely. Does anyone have proficiency in nature?
Yeah.
I believe it's because of your ghost abilities.
No.
Oh, nice.
It's because I'm a fox person.
Could you roll my nature?
Yeah. There's advantage. Okay, good.
Karuto.
Nice.
They died extremely violently. So you got a good look at all their internal organs. They don't make sense. For one, you quickly notice that the lions have 3 hearts and 4 sets of lungs. And even their digestive tract doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to you as you kind of glance in there. Like if you are shooting for a vital organ, it has duplicates. It might explain why it's really hard to pin them down and kill them quickly. But additionally, you notice that there's some organs that you don't even recognize that are kind of dripping out of its body. Whatever these things are, they are extremely alien to any species that you've seen before once you actually look inside of them.
Which character doesn't spend too long doing because it's kind of gross and weird.
Yeah, you didn't have much of a choice. They died very violently.
I mean, I'm just like standing and be like, ooh, gross.
Indeed. But assuming that you just walk for an hour before bedding down, you have no issues in doing so. I have a quick request that we go back to second to third watch for the remainder of the night. If people remember who was doing second and third watch.
Leo would suggest that like he be part of second watch and maybe just switch the order of watches so that he can bring back up the dome while everybody
Sure.
sleeps immediately. Which will put Leo and Karuto on second watch this time, I think.
Sounds good to me.
You may have advantage.
Beautiful. Perception.
Karto. It takes a few hours as you're kind of listening into the silence, but eventually you do hear the sounds of from the corpses that you left in your wake. Even an hour's walk, you're still within distance to hear it, and it is gross, and something's definitely eating it.
It's the circle of life.
But you're not sure what, and it's far enough away that you didn't get any visual of what headed that way.
Not that it particularly matters, because hopefully it'll be distracted long enough to just,
You know, at the very least, these creatures are huge and are a lot of meat.
But there could be something huger and meatier.
That being said, is there anything else any conversation you'd like to have for your wake third watch?
Character doesn't seem inclined to talk.
Yeah, Leo's just recovering, and he is going to use Arcane Recovery to get some spell slots back, knowing that Arcane Recovery does not come back as normal.
That's fine.
But that's it, I think.
All right. Celestra and Navali?
Go ahead and take advantage.
All right.
Navala, you can also hear the sounds of eating that happen throughout the entire night. Minimum, it takes time to eat one of these creatures, apparently. That's not a comfort. But you don't hear anything approaching you.
Sounds good.
And I believe this is the 6th day, at least according to my own notes. We're actually going to take a break there and simply continue next session as you continue on your way to the Oasis of Flowers.
Hooray! Are we making
boy.
good time?
You are making good time. You're pretty
Yay.
sure you'll be there within 2 days, possibly 3, but probably 2.
Oh boy, we're doing it.
But
The real
more,
desert navigators.
if random generation made you have another fight, we wouldn't have time for that. So I don't want to even risk that.
That makes sense.
You could just have us get there safe and sound, you know.
No.
And we're there, and we found everything we needed.
But
How convenient.
we'll end here, and I assume we're all good for next week.
Good for next week.
Yeah.
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 Gonna triple check my calendar real quick just in case.
October 2nd.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. In that
Oh,
case,
Gucci.
see everyone next week.
See you next week.
Be well.
Thanks for
Thanks for
running.
running.